Welcome to the Shine Speak Easy, the quiet corner of the dance mom world where we trade perfection for presence. This is where we exhale, reflect, and remember that showing up, just as we are, is more than enough. Now, I've been a comp mom for a few years now, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that we need a room like this. This week, we're talking about waiting for the team list. Why this part feels so loud, even when no one's talking. A lot of us are in that in-between space. Intensives are wrapping up, auditions are done, and we're just waiting, maybe refreshing that email a lot more than we want to admit. My dancer just finished her intensives, had auditions, so the fact that I'm itching, thinking a little bit about checking the email is just par for the course. It's what is to be expected during this pre-back to studio season. This is just part of the process. And one of the things that we often don't do as dance moms is say it out loud, let it be known, acknowledge the tension of the moment. It's a heightened moment, and it's not only tension that we're dealing with a lot of excitement. Most likely our dancers have just finished an amazing week of intensives. They've met with new teachers, learned new dance styles, improved upon skills that they had probably been working on all season long, but all of a sudden now, with a little breath between the end of the season and now, things are starting to click better. And so there's just a lot of excitement. There's a lot of potential in the air, and that can bring a lot of tension with regard to the moment of just the nerves and uncertainty of what's going to happen. That's just the way it is. If you've done this before, or if this is new to you, this whole experience, it doesn't change year over year. This feels very heavy for us as dance moms because the quiet part of dance is often when our emotions get loud. When we're waiting, we don't know what's going on, while the studio is making their decisions and figuring out the placements and figuring out the routines that are going to be offered, the solo duo trios that are going to be offered. That's when we're spiraling possibly in our mind with what if hypothetical scenarios. And this is when we need to dial it back. When we have no control over things, when we don't know what's going to happen, that can create a tendency to create a high level of stress. During intensives, especially, this is where we can see our dance mom brain starting to analyze everything. Who is when, what level with your dancer, what the teachers might have noticed, but they may not have noticed. It's not necessarily that we're overreacting. This is just a season for our dancers that we care deeply about. And when we have to wait and we have to relinquish the control, it just stirs up all of those heavy emotions that we just can't do anything about. We just have to process through and come out on the other side. Hopefully, once that team placement list drops, feeling a lot better and a lot more relieved with what has all taken place. There's also an additional layer of social pressure that is coming into play during this time frame. Studio group dynamics can feel a bit weird. We're coming back to the studio, and of course we're seeing friendly faces back in the building, but we're also seeing some faces who are no longer there. So the energy, the culture, the vibe hasn't yet been established for this current season. It can make things feel a bit off, a bit awkward in the initial start of the season. The emotional social pressure, even if no one's saying it out loud, is real. It's just going to take time for everyone to get back into the groove, and even for possibly the studio to rediscover their vibe, their culture, what that looks like, how the teams are going to gel. You know, for my dancer, there are a few of her friends that are no longer coming back to the studio. And so I have to have with my dancer to check in with her to make sure she understands that, just like at her school, possibly there are students that may be going to different places, maybe going to different schools, maybe moving. Everything can look a little different, but that doesn't mean we can't take our time and feel it out. And even as dance moms, we're looking around like, oh, okay, so-and-so didn't come back. That's part of the process for us as well. And sometimes we don't talk about how that can be emotionally overwhelming. The person that we probably talk to the most, our spouse, they probably don't get it. They're not there in the building the same amount of time that we are connecting with the fellow dance moms who are no longer there. So There's a lot of reasons why this time frame right here, this waiting for that placements list before things really get kicked into gear and really before we get back to the studio can feel just a bit heavy for us all. So while we're going through this, we really want to have a foundation to rely on. What can we do with this energy? For me, it helps to share how I'm feeling about it. It helps to talk with other people who are also feeling it and check in. A lot of the Dance Mom journey, honestly, is really just feeling and being reaffirmed that the way you feel, the way you think is not this weird anomaly and that you're the only one who feels or thinks that. So it's okay to really care and be grounded in the fact that we care for a dancer. We want to be anchored in the things we do know. You want to be focused on the things that you can control. So you can control the fact that you know that your dancer showed up. You know that they worked hard and grew during that week-long intensive. Keep in mind and tell yourself through this process, if you're going into intensives or if you're in this waiting game period along with me, that no placement can change the fact that you are a solid, supportive dance mom who is there to support your dancer. You're doing what you need to do. Just give yourself that kudos, give yourself that confidence that you're walking into the season armed with the things that you need to be armed with. And the moment that email does come out, I just want you to remind yourself that team placement does not define your dancer's future. It just starts the next chapter of their journey. I have a whole video about how to process through that team placement list if it looks a bit differently than you had anticipated or hoped. So if you need advice, it's there. Check it out. There's a free guide that comes with that just to help walk you through that process of how to show up for yourself and for your dancer. Overall, this week is realizing and reflecting on the fact that, hey, the season hasn't even started yet. And we're feeling, at least I'm feeling, a myriad of very intense and powerful emotions. So if you're in that in-between space, refreshing emails, overthinking conversations you've had, you're not alone. I want you to take a breath, pour something comforting, get you a nice tea, get you a nice coffee, and know that whatever the list says, your dancer still has you. And that matters more than absolutely everything. Thanks for slipping into the Speakeasy with me, and I'll see you next time.